दातु पृखदस्वामरुतः कृष्णिमातरः शुभं जावानो विदधेहु जगमय्यः अग्निर्जिह्वा मनवः सूरचक्षसु विश्वे नो देवा अवशागमन्निह भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवा भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्जयत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गे तुष्टवागुंसस्तनु विर्वसेमहि देवहितं यदायुः सतमिन्नु शरदो अन्ति देवा यत्रा नश्कराजरशन्तनूनां पुत्रासो यत्र पितरो भवन्ति मानु मर्यारीर्कर्तायुर्गन्तोः आदितिर्द्योरदितिरन्तरिक्षमदित्रिं माता स पिता स पुत्रः विश्वे देवा अदितिः पञ्चजन अदितिर्जातमदितिजनित्वं माद्योः शान्तिरन्तरिक्षगुं शान्तिः पृथिवी शान्तिरापः शान्तिरोखदय शान्तिः वनस्पतयः शान्तिर्विश्वे देवा शान्तिब्रह्म शान्तिः सर्वगुं शान्तिः शान्तिरेव शान्ति सामा शान्तिरेधि। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। नमो ब्रह्मण्यदेवाय गोब्राह्मणहिताय च जगद्दिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। अज्ञानातिमिराधस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। ओंकारबिन्दुसंयुक्तं नित्यं ध्यायन्ति योगिनः कामदं मोक्षदं चैव ओंकाराय नमो नमः। वागर्थाविव संपृक्तो वागर्था प्रतिपत्तये जगतः पितरो वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरः। मनसो जातचक्षुः सूर्यो अजायतः श्रोत्वा द्वायुष्य प्राणस्य मुखादग्निरजायतः। फुल्लारविन्दायत पत्रनेत्रे येन भारत तैलपूर्णे प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमया प्रदीप। विन्दायत पत्रनेत्रं येन त्वया भारत तैलपूर्णे प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमया प्रदीप। देवाय गोब्राह्मणहिताय च जगद्दिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। लक्ष्मी सपत्न्यां बहोरात्रे पार्श्वे नक्षत्राणरूपमस्मिन्नो व्याप्तं काणामूमैखाणां सर्वलोकं महिखाणाम्। बोलिए व्यास जी महाराज की जय, शिव महापुराण की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय।
check. महाबोधि महादेव की जय। सब लोग आसन लीजिए। एवरीवन प्लीज सीटेड। मुकेश
जय 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 गणनाथ
Devata ki Jai. Let me take this opportunity to welcome each and every one of you here tonight. So this is the first night or 3 nights of Shiv Mahapuran Yajna. Of course, the culmination of this Yajna will be on Mahashivratri, which is on Saturday. So tonight and tomorrow night, there will be readings from the Mahapuran, and of course, on Saturday night. In this time of worship unto Mahadev Bhagwan and Mahashivratri, Hindus all over the world are very, very committed to this prayer, this activity, this austerity. But I was asked once by a young person, so what is so big about Shivratri? Why does everybody go to the Mandir Shivratri? And are we celebrating something on Shivratri night? Well, it is important for us to understand that the purpose of Mahashivratri is to give us an opportunity to reflect, to look back into our lives, and then to identify areas for improvement. It is to recalibrate our intellect, our mentality, and to look at how we can reduce the exposure of our desires or reduce the demands of our desires. That is, we need to look at ourselves and ask the question, how much of a vairagi or tyagi, meaning a person who is detaching from this materialism, how much of that person have I become? Have I become more attached to the world, or am I becoming more detached from the world? And we must understand this attachment and detachment in its true context. We all have to have a car, a home, clothing, food, and basic amenities to exist in this world. That is a need. But if we live only to talk about our house, our car, our education, and our money, and if these are the only things that we talk about and the only things that are important to us, then we are attached to them. In essence, we should use them as vehicles, as resources to help us in our process of life. But the process of life is being granted to us, meaning to exist has been granted to us by God. God ordains our presence. We take birth. He infuses life into our body, and He gives us the 5 senses, and He says, go forth and be. In this go forth and being, how we are being is important. We are told that God has given us charo phal, dharma, arth, kam or moksha. In the Hanuman Chalisa, in the opening chaupai, we sing, Sri Guru Charan Saroj Raja
Nij man mukur sudhar Varno raghubar vimal jaso Jo dhyayak phal char Budhiheen tanu chahike Sumiro pawan kumar Bal buddhiya dehu mohi Harahu kalesh vikar Harahu kalesh vikar
Jo dayak phal. We as human beings, in our activities of life, Jo dayak phalachar, should enjoy phalachar, the 4 fruits. Bal buddhi vidya dev mahi haru kalesh vikar. And if we execute bal, buddhi, vidya, sabaklesh, all of our challenges can be overcome. But At the same time, we will enjoy these four fruits. Now, all of us have these four fruits: dharma, earth, kama, or moksha. But are we enjoying them? The enjoyment or the benefits derived from these fruits can only be achieved by the way we use our bal, or energy, or buddhi, or knowledge, vidya, intellect. If we do not apply these in a positive way, we will never enjoy these four fruits. But we have them. They are granted to us as a gift from the beginning. No one is shortchanged at any time. But are we all enjoying these four fruits? You know, many of us have many things. We have good jobs, good family, good lives, good looks, and all of that, but we're not enjoying life. Something seems to make it not happen the way we want it to be. But then we have to ask ourselves, how am I using my energy? How am I using my knowledge, my intellect? All the people in the world who are suffering from the economics of life must ask themselves this question: how am I using my energy, my knowledge, and my intellect to nurture my needs of economics? And you'll find that in this modern world that we live in, if we are not using the energy and the knowledge and the wisdom in a proper way, it doesn't matter whether we live in Canada, the United Kingdom, or Saudi Arabia, we still have the same challenges. We can't seem to make it in life. It doesn't matter how much money we make. It doesn't matter how many friends we have. It seems we're always having challenges. And then we seek an answer from God. We say, oh my, the grahas may be against me. And we come to Panditji and say, Baba, check the Panchang and see what is it, and then we are expecting Baba to come up with a mantra that will eradicate all of these challenges. But the fact is, we have all of these at our doorsteps, but we are not utilizing them the way we can. But there is a reason why we are not utilizing them. You see, although we have this energy and we have this knowledge and this intellect, there is a human tendency, an emotional status that overshadows them. And that overshadowing factor, that thing, that state of mind, that source of emotion is called ego. It's called abhiman. You will see some people with all the intellect and all the energy and all the wisdom in the world do something that you say, how could you do that? And then when you understand, it is their abhiman that has driven them. This ego, I, all about me. And you say, but you're a wise person, what would you do that? I wanted it this way. And such, my ego becomes a dominant factor in my life. And when I talked about Shivratri and the recalibrating and the reflecting, is that we must do the analysis and says, is my life being driven by my ego? Or am I able to apply my energy, knowledge and intellect in the most useful way where it can be more productive to my life? And thus, I shall truly enjoy these gifts of dharma, arth, kama, or moksha. This is what we are supposed to do during this vrat of Shivratri. Reflect, analyze, recalibrate, rejuvenate, and set new standards. Set new standards. Like we all are setting standards. Those of us who are 60 and over are setting standards for body weight. We're setting standards for exercise. We're setting standards for measuring our blood pressure. We're setting standards for how much vacation we should go on, and so on and so on. So in doing all of these recalibration, we are reflecting and then recalibrating. Hopefully after this night of austerity and penance, we leave rejuvenated. Those of you who have stayed all night, I know we are tired, the body's tired, but after you've had a couple of hours of rest, there is an energy, a different energy. You feel, wow, rejuvenated. It's like you've just had 25 minutes on the treadmill when you're only supposed to do 10. And you were driven after you did 10, you said, no, you want to go more. Do you ever have that experience, anybody? Don't? Tara doesn't. Well, no, I have had that. I go and I said, I'm going to do 15 minutes, but I know I should do 30 minutes. And when I get to 15 minutes, I'm feeling so good, I said, I better do 30 minutes. But I never started. And I see my brother Sam is here right now. Every morning I call him at a certain time, he's walking. He's doing his half an hour walk. And he's energized in that half an hour walk. So the energizing of the body, using this energy of the body, using this knowledge of the body that God has given us, and Bal Buddhi Vidya. Now we chant this prayer to Hanumanji all the time. But rarely do we think of what that Doha is telling us. Charu, these 4 fruits, remember you have it. Now let's identify these 4 fruits. Dharma, is it something physical? Artha, is it something physical? Kama, is it physical? Moksha. Well, dharma is not, and moksha is not for sure. These are states of existence. Artha and Kam are materialism. If we have the proper state of existence, mental state of existence, or emotional states of existence, where we are dharmic, where we think good, act good, speak good, and see goodness in the world, then we are certainly in moksha land. But if we do not have this dharmic nature, moksha seems to be like something we don't know about. And then all we are about is these 2, artha and kam. Artha and kam are physical, they are materialistic. The artha is this world. Everything in this world is a gift from God, and it all belongs to us. And kama is the ability to enjoy these gifts of the world. We all have that power. There is no one in the world who's restricted. Doesn't matter how they're constrained. They're not restricted to enjoying these 4 fruits. I could be in a jail cell and enjoy them. Because they have nothing to do with what I eat and what blanket I sleep upon and which bed I sleep upon, what chair I sit upon, which car I drive. These are gifts from the divine. So understand them, that we have them. Then these 3 resources, energy, physical and body energy, and our knowledge that we gain and acquire, and that intellect that goes beyond what we call wisdom. How many times have we not said to ourselves, I wish I didn't do that? Or we say to our children or our spouse or associate, you shouldn't have done that. You're a wise person. Why would you do that? And then we are amazed by how such a wise person will act in such a way. And there is the culprit of all of this. And the little fellow called ego is always part of this. So I want to start my readings tonight by first singing a bhajan that I sang quite often. But today, based on this, what we talked about, Abhiman. This thing called Abhiman, the more we allow it to dominate our emotions, and by the way, Abhiman sits on top of our id, ego, and superego. And Avanji either embellishes or undermines it. Now it's okay to have pride. I'm proud to be a Hindu. I'm proud to be a mother and a father and a brother and a sister. I'm proud to be a good person. But that, we must take pride. I'm proud to defend righteousness. But exercising my pride in dominating and overpowering and maybe towering over others, for lack of a better word, just being oppressive is another way that Abhiman has its place. God never put anything in this world that didn't have a value. Even poison has its value. It does have a value. So let's start with this thing called Abhiman. Samji, tonight we have left this entire asana for you. Please do come and sit here, please. And I hope one of these harmonium will be to your taste. They are both second hand, but we'll try. मत कर तू अभिमान रे बंदे झूठी तेरी शान रे मत कर तू अभिमान अंधकार निराला, bahar ujla, bhitar kala. Maya. This term refers to the world as it is, the world as we know, and the world beyond what we know. Everything that we can envision, come into contact with, in thought, word, or reality, is Maya. And who has created this Maya? God. And then he says, Maya ka andhkara nirala. This Maya creates a facade, or we become a victim of a facade by this Maya, like marketing, for instance. No disrespect against the people who are in the marketing business, but marketing is really a con game. It is intended to sell you on something that you may never even need. But the person marketing has no interest in that. Their job is to make sure they sell you. Maya is intended to sell you on everything that you don't need. And it's doing that. We see a nice big car, I want one of those. I want one of those. It is all constantly tantalizing and just stimulating our desires. I want. That's what Maya is. Maya is saying, come on, you gotta want. And then the ego says, you got to be the best one in the job. So Maya and ego are friends. They get along well together. They share the same bed. They eat from the same pot. And you know who they're victims? Himself. But then God, why did God create this Maya, an ego, when he knew that they will be our terrors? He said, no. Maya has their purpose, and ego have their purpose, and you have an intellect. I've given you that also. I want you to exist in this world using your intellect and manage the relationships that you have with ego and Maya. Maya ka andhkar nirala. Maya's job is to create facade, to let you see and believe in something that doesn't exist. Maya ka andhkar nirala, bahar ujla, bhitar kala. On the outside, it makes you think that, oh wow, things are just great. When your ego is going, you got control, you're it. But inside, bahut kala. There is darkness inside, because that ego is fermented by or nurtured by desire that it shouldn't be there, or hatred, or lust, or greed, or false pride. And these are the nurturing elements that are nurturing this ego, and it's not in our best interest when it is. So the analogy has been made that when you have this ego, Maya helps it along by letting you see and believe that what you're doing is the best thing, and then your desires fuels it, and you're living in a false state. Isike tu pehchane de bande. He says, realize that this, you must see clearly that this state of Abhiman is not the way to be. The way to be is Ram Naam Mani Deep Dharu. The saints and the sages recommend that the remedy or the therapy to confront this Maya and this ego is Ram and Naam, the name of God, or faith in the name of God. It should be like a light that can shine in the darkness of our minds. Ram Naam Mani Deepadaru. take this as a light inside. Ram Namam Mani Deeparu. And then Bhitar Bahar Ujala. Then the light and the brightness that you feel outside will be the same state we'll feel inside. Not that we only feel good about ourselves and the outside, but inside we have guilt, greed, animosity, and false thoughts about others. He says, no, when they synchronize, that we see good inside, we feel good and think and act, then that is the synergy of perfect human existence. Mahashivratri is intended to help us to reflect, to recalibrate, to bring ourselves close to that state that I just described. But before proceeding, my brother Sam is here. I would like to ask him to do first one bhajan, please. Sam, try that harmonium and see if it will work for you. Tara said this is the... She knows that she's ordering 2 more... No, Sita ji, who's taken his new role now, will be ordering 2 new harmoniums for the Mandir, and we'll have that. Right it in. There it is. Use the red one on the ground. Is it there somewhere? The red one? Don't use that one. It's too loud. Use the red cord. No? Take one of these cordless mics. Take the one in front of you, Tara.
Check. Gamara nisa 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 nidama gama gasa nisa nisa magama. जय शंकर कैलाशपति शिव पुराण ब्रह्मा सदय विनाशी जय शंकर कैलाशपति शिव जय शंकर कैलाशपति शिव पुराण ब्रह्मा सदय विनाशी अंग विभूति गले मुंडमाला अंग विभूति गले मुंडमाला शीशु जाटा गल गंग विलासी अंग विभूति गले मुंडमाला शीश जाटा जल गंग विलासी जय शंकर कैलाशपति शिव जय शंकर कैलाशपति शिव पुराण ब्रह्मा सदय विनाशी कला मस्तक पे सोहे चंद्र कला मस्तक पे सोहे तीन नयन त्रिलोक्य विकासी चंद्र
काला मस्तक पे सोहे टीना नयन त्रिलोक्य विकासी जय शंकर के जय शंकर जय शंकर कैलाश पटी शिव पूरन ब्रह्म सदय विनाशी ब्रह्मानंद करो करुणा प्रभु जी भवभंजन भक्तन सुख राशि जय शंकर जय शंकर जय शंकर कैलाशपति शिव पूरन ब्रह्म सदय विनाशी जय शंकर जय शंकर जय शंकर कैलाशपति शिव
Let me invite everyone to clasp our hands, close our eyes as we contemplate the Divine Lord Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Vande Devmapadim Surgurum Vande Pannagabhushanam Migadharam Vande Surya Shashanka Vainayanam Vande Mukunda Priyam Vande Bhakta Janarsayan Tavaradhanam Vande Shivam Shankaram Vande Shivam Shankaram Dhyaye Nityam Mahesham Vrajatagiri Shivam Charu Chandra Vasantam Ratna Kalpa Vajwalanga Purutvigadam Viti Hastam Prasannam Padmasinam Samatatam Tutimarganaiva Gritikivasanam Vishwadhyam Vishvadam Nirikalam Anchavakram Trinetram Hare 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 Mahadeva Hare 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 Mahadeva
Hare 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 Mahadeva Hare 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 Mahadeva Hare Hare
Our katha tonight is one taking from the opening pages of the Mahabharata. We have heard this katha many times. It is a katha about Narad Muni and how he became infatuated and was driven by desires, and all that happened around him. The essence in this katha is built upon my opening statements about this thing called ego, and which is fueled by desires and then influences our id, our ego, and our superego, that is the tamasic and sattvic, and leads us in a state of false existence. And in our actions, we will see from this katha, which I'll read tonight and tomorrow night, how our actions, as simple as we think it is our actions, I have done it, the impact and influence it has on everyone around us. For whatever reasons, we cannot do anything without having an impact on everyone and everything around us. Whether we know it or not, whether we feel it or not, every time we breathe, we have an impact on everything and everyone around us. We exist as a large universal unit of microcosms that each and every one of them, their karma impacts the other. Now I will tell you a little story. There's a little truth to this story, but I've embellished it so to please my purpose tonight. One day I was in my yard and I was having a good day tossing a ball in the air. Just tossing and catching, tossing and catching. And then I tossed it up, and lo and behold, the wind took the ball and it fell over on the neighbor's side, and I didn't see what happened. But what I heard is somebody saying, "Oh my God, look what happened." And I leaned over the fence and noticed that the neighbor was having a little get-together in the backyard, and had just prepared their layout on the buffet table, and my ball landed right in the bowl of soup. Now, it splattered all over the attendees around the table, and they were all very nicely dressed. And of course, they immediately got very annoyed. And they asked their friends, why do you have these kind of neighbors? And then my neighbor's trying to defend me. No, he's a good fellow. But look what he did. Now, I didn't intend to spill the bowl of soup, nor did I intend to mess their clothes up. Nor did I intend to irritate them, nor did I intend for them to have a terrible opinion of me. But it all happened, didn't it? No intentions. My simple action has created such, and by the way, it could go on. She might sue me, take me to court. I'll have to get the lawyers involved, and so on. My wife will tell me how stupid. My children said, "Dad, how could you make us feel so bad?" And before you know, the whole neighborhood knows that. And why all I did was toss a ball in the air. So be conscious of our actions, please. Don't ever take them for granted. Similarly, we will see that Narad Muni, in his actions, simple as they were, and then in order to present it in a more realistic term, our great writers have given these activities to prominent and divine names. Now it's Narad Muni, the celestial sage, who's the bad guy in this story. And he's supposed to be a good guy, by the way. He goes around, he's the fellow that goes around and says, Narayana, Narayana. And he's the one who goes in such an Narayan Katha and goes to Vaitlok and says, Narayan Karuna me Sharanam, Narayan
Karuna me Sharanam,
Jai Lakshmi Pati Vishnu Sharanam,
Jai Lakshmi Pati Vishnu Sharanam,
Vipati Hamari
Vipati Hamari
Param Pita Parameshwar
Sharanam Sharanam Narayana
approaches Bhagavan Vishnu and says, Bipati hamari tune tari. He says, all of my troubles, O Lord, I know you can solve them. Paramapita Parameshwar. Well, that same Narad Muni, whom the Lord admires so much, is about to be used. Indra Devta, we're not to get into who he is, but we'll give him a high status. He's one of the heavenly divinities. Felt that others might be encroaching on his territorial domain of the heavens. And Narad Muni was in tapasya. And it is believed that Narad Muni was in tapasya to Bhagavan Shiva. And if should he acquire this Vardhan of reaching that state of Samadhi and given Vardhan by Bhagavan Shiva and Brahma, they would ask him, what do you want? Anything you want. And Indra believed that, he believes that Narad has the power to achieve this status. And when he asks Brahma, Brahma will tell him, you could have Indralok. We'll just replace this fellow. And Indra says, I can't have this happen. What human tendency is at work right now? By Indra. Not Indira, Indra. He is afraid of losing his position. And by the way, this is all a thought in his mind. He believed that Narad Muni will achieve that, and he believed that Brahma will give him when he asks for anything, and he says, I will lose my throne. So what does he do? He says, like any other human being, I'll take care of this Narad fooling guy, get him out of the way. So he puts a plan into place. Let's see what plan he puts into place. And by the way, before I go there, I want you to know this katha about Narad Muni. We are told in Ramcharitmanas that Narad Muni had a confrontation with who? Anybody remember? By the way, what was the occasion on the 14th of February? Come on, tell me, what was it?
Valentine.
Come on, say it. Valentine's Day. The fellow called Cupid, you know, the one with the arrows and the heart and all that? You know what's his name in Hinduism? Kamdev. He is the one of sensuality. Yes, we knew about Cupid a long, long time ago before Valentine's Day. And in that katha, we are told that Bhagavan Shiva was in Samadhi, meditation. And everybody wanted to wake him up so he can go and get married to Mother Parvati. And they says, look, this fellow is in such Samadhi, the only one who can wake him up is sensuality. Samadhi against sensuality. Deep meditation and sensuality, these are the two things that are always conflict. How can I maintain my stability of purity when I am confronted by sensuality? So Kamdev represented sensuality, and all the other says, go attack him and wake him up from his samadhi because he's got to get married. Thus, the Katha tells us that Kamdev tried and lost. And when he lost, Lord Shiva opens up his eye, and in the one blinking of his eye, he burnt Kamdev to ash. And Kamdev's wife, Rati, was in great grief. You burned away my wife, my husband. He was only doing the duty of someone else. They wanted him to wake you up. He wasn't intended to hurt you, but you in your wake, in your anger, seeing he is the one, and you burnt him up. Again, somebody doing something and getting the results of their karma. Thus, Bhagavan Shiva says, okay, not to worry. He will come back again in another birth. And this place will always be a place that he will realm, but he will never have any kind of guarantees of power in this place. Meaning, my domain, I've made it that no one shall be overcome by him when they come to this place. Meaning, if you go to this place, sensuality will never overcome you. Remember that thought. Now, this same Narad Muni is in that same place where Bhagavan Shiva was seated and took care of Kamdeva and his meditation. So remember, Bhagavan Shiva had already said, anyone seated here is under my protection and no one can affect them. Indradev, we are told, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya. Anthony. C sharp. हेमशैला गुहयामि मुनियस्तपति नारद मनसो ईशय विवेशाम महासन्य वान्द्रिद चायत्रं विदितो राज्यं साममेति विश्वगितम् अद्वै गच्छत् तत्र त्वां ततोऽपीदि नमाचर नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय. Indra Devata, having come to the conclusion by his own determination, not happening in his mind, he feels threatened, he thinks I have to do something, and he says, you know what, I have to develop some strategy that will protect me from Narad Muni claiming my kingdom. So Narad Muni is now a victim of someone who he doesn't even think about. He doesn't know what's being planned behind. Behind his back, the whole world is about to change, and he's an innocent person just in Samadhi. The world is full of such situations. You're sitting one day in your house in all calm and serenity, and suddenly the whole world explodes around you. You wonder, what did I do today? Or what didn't I do? Narad Muni is about to show us, and Sant Goswami, the Ved Vyasa, is about to explain to us how human nature influences the activities of the world. Continuously. रचयामास त्रितासु स्वकल्पया सकल्यपि वसन्तोऽपि स्वप्रभावं चाकरं विधिवं मदाम् न बहुवा मुनीश्वतो विकृतां मुनिः समात्मम् वृष्टे भवन्तु त्रद्दवो महेशानुग्रहे नः नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय. Indradev engaged Kamdev. He's reborn now. And he says, by the way, I have a little job for you to do. I want you to go where Narad Muni is, and I want you to disturb his tapasya. Now, this poor fellow, Indradev, had the same thing happen to him before. And the story tells us when he was going to try to disturb Bhagwan Shiva, he made a comment. He says, look, I'm dead anyway. You know, if I don't go, they're going to take care of me. If I go, he will take care of me. So I might as well let him take care of me, then I will go through the grace of God. Now this statement of making that decision, am I in the hands of the devil? Am I in the hands of God? I'm in both. Choose which way I want to go. It is my choice. But both ways, I will be dealt with. Do you want the devil to deal with you? Or would you prefer God to deal with you? Now I want us to know in our scriptures that all the bad people ultimately get salvation by God. Did you know that? Ravan, as bad as he was, Bhagwan Ram came and gave him salvation. So then you'll say, I should be bad because God will take care of me anyway. Don't try that route, okay? Because Ravan was the greatest devotee of who? Bhagwan Shiva. Ravan made Lord Shiva dance the Tandava. He commanded him. His devotion was so powerful. And when he achieved those Bardhan, those Padvi, well, who did he try to challenge? God himself. Sometimes the person who gives us everything, we try to take them down first before anything else. Umabhati Mahadeva ki jai. So, of course, Kamdev, being Kamdev, decided that he will take on this little job by Indra Devata, and he arrives at the place where Narad Muni is seated in meditation, the same place that Bhagavan Shiva was seated and took control and made that declaration that anyone who's seated here will never be overpowered by sensuality. Of course, Naradji tried his little, all of his, he took out his kit of temptations, the bag of temptations. You ever heard of that? Temptation number 1, the eyes get engaged. Temptation number 2, the ears get engaged. Temptation number 3, the nostrils get engaged. Temptation number 4, the taste buds get, and then number 5 is when we touch. All of these temptations from his bag of temptations, he threw at Narad Muni. Nothing happened. Because Narad Muni was being protected by the will and the power of Lord Shiva. Now sometimes we're doing so good in the world, and we're saying, look at all these bad things that happened to me, and I'm doing so good in this world, and I'm great, that's it. Be wary of that. Someone else is taking care of you. Narad Muni is being attacked by Kamdev, and he realizes it. But he says, wow, he's not having any effect upon me. Look how good I am. He forgot that Bhagavan Shiva, through Bhagavan Shiva's grace, he is able to defend or fend off. We sometimes fail to realize, but because of the wisdom of our fathers and our forefathers, and whatever it is that we've been given, that we are able to fend off the challenges of the world, and we think, I am man, I am it, and that is what it is. And we fail to realize, someone, something is holding me up for. The minute I stop doing that, then what takes over? My ego is running the show. So we're at that state where Kamdev came, did his bag of tricks, didn't have any effect. Narad Muni awakes and said, oh, you're here, Kamdev. You tried, huh? It didn't work because you know who I am. I'm the man who have total control. What does Narad Muni projecting now? Abhiman. So now Narad Muni takes on the state of Abhiman, and then he goes, of course, to Vaikuntha Lok, and he sits with Brahmaji, and he says, Father, I want you to know what happened today. He said, don't tell me, I know already. You know? He says, yes, I know. You defended yourself against Kamdev. You did good. And Narad Muni, well, of course, the Divine Lord is seeing what's operating in Narad Muni's mind. Narad Muni says, I'm good. I'm really good. I could really stand up against all temptations. And Bhagavan Brahma is saying, oh, little boy, only if you know who was holding you up, only if you know whose shoulders you were standing on when you were being so strong, only if you know how hard they had to hold you up before you'd fall, but you don't know. But he told him, by the way, I know you're going to go visit Bhagavan Vishnu after you leave me and say hello. Don't tell him the story, please. Don't tell him how you conquered Kamdev. No, I wouldn't do that. So the story goes on. Narad Muni have a good day with Bhagavan Brahma, and he went on to Vaikuntha Lok to visit Bhagavan Vishnu. How are you doing? It's good to see you. Nice you come to visit me. Well, you look very happy, Naradji. So what is it that makes you so happy? Well, if I tell you, he forgot totally, he was told not to tell. But you see, ego has this power. That's, although you don't want to tell anybody that you've got this great glory, you just want to share it a little bit. And of course, he had to tell Bhagavan Vishnu the story too. That, I had a confrontation with Kamdev, and boy, did I show him that I had the power to defend against him. Bhagavan Vishnu says, my child. In his mind, he's saying, he was warned, and he's still doing that. I have to do something about this fellow. I have to help him. And the Lord decided to help him. Now, Narad Muni is about to get scolding by his elder. But not a whipping and a slapping, but an experience in life. Sometimes experiences in life are the best lessons and the best scolding we can receive, only if we recognize them as a scolding. Only if we recognize them. So, Narad Muni said, hello to Bhagwan Vishnu. They had a little chat, talked about the old time days and how things are going on in the world and so on, of course. And he left the Vaikuntha Lok and he told Bhagwan Vishnu, I think I'm going to go visit the earthly plane a little bit and see how things are going. On his journey, in between that journey, the Divine Lord Vishnu created a facade, a mirage of a world, a kingdom similar to earth. And this kingdom is ruled by a king by the name of King Shalanidhi. And King Shalanidhi has a beautiful daughter. And when Narad Muni enters into the kingdom, which is done through the grace of Bhagavan Vishnu Brahma, that he is there, he saw there's a lot of commotion and a lot of joyful things. People running around happily, lots of preparation. And the word is, oh my, Shalanidhi's got a beautiful daughter and he's got a Swayambar and he's trying to find a good husband. Naradji said, sure. Narad Muni was not in any way, by the way, he is Narad Muni, he's supposed to be a celestial brahmachari, meaning committed to being a brahmachari for life. Marriage is not in his book. But remember, he's already tainted by ego. So, like any other sage, when the word gets around to King Shalanidhi that the great sage Narad Muni is here, of course, please let's get him to come and let us give the blessings to my daughter, who is we want. And of course, Narad Muni comes, unlike some people can read hands. Narad Muni took the hands of this daughter Vishwamohini and looked at it, and immediately he saw, oh my God, she is a gem. Any man who marries her will be the partner, share the partnership of this whole world. Not only her beauty, but her power. And Narad Muni became a victim of sensuality. Ego, now sensuality. And although he knows his commitment to be a brahmachari, he said, I have to get married. And now he's driven by his ego and his desire, combination that is undeterrable. When they're on the track, they're bulldozing away, nothing stops them. So with ego and desire all being fueled by, Narad Muni says, I need to go back to the big boss. I want to get some support for this thought I have in my mind. So who does he go back to? Bhagavan Vishnu. So quick you're back? What's happening? Well, I just went to this earthly plane and then King Shalanidhi has got a beautiful daughter. But he doesn't say to Bhagavan Vishnu, he wants to marry this girl. He says, can you make me as good looking as you, please? Well, by the way, in the Mahashiv Puran, there's a slightly different version of this katha than what is in the Ramcharitmanas. In the Mahashiv Puran, we are told that Bhagavan Vishnu looks at Naradji and smiles and feels pity upon him. And says, my child, I shall do what is best for you. Parents say that to children. Sometimes children believe they're about to get what they want. But Narad Muni, of course, says, thank you very much, and he leaves him go. The Lord created him with a face of a monkey, not a donkey, a monkey. And as such, Narad Muni returns back to the Shalanidhi kingdom. And when the Swayamvar is going on, he's of course believing he's Vishnu Bhagavan, and have all, not Vishnu, he has the appearance of Vishnu Bhagavan, like some of us walking around like we're it. You know that? There was a time when we used to, you're walking around like you're it, huh? Just because you got the latest, what kind of outfit you have, you're it. And he's walking around like he's it, and then, Anjani knows about this. He's walking around like he's it. But he noticed that people are like looking at him very weird. And two of Bhagwan Shiva's Dut, servants of were there. And they were laughing hilariously. Now, listen carefully. The person who is doing something wrong, if you're observing and you are also included in humiliating them, your karma is your karma. So these two dudes laughed at him. And they're just getting hilarious. And he was like, what's going on? So lo and behold, he takes a look in the pond and he realizes what they're laughing at. And he gets into a rage. And he pronounced a curse on both of them. These were servants of Bhagavan Shiva. They're divine beings. And he pronounced a curse upon them that for generations, you will be in demonic state. And he left them alone. And then Another rage. He goes back to Vaikuntha before he get there. And he says, you who made me look like a monkey and be humiliated by a woman because of a woman, you shall be humiliated just like that. Now the curse of Narad Muni cannot be removed. So the scriptures tells us. So now let us follow this katha carefully. Indra Devata felt threatened in his position. He employed greed and bribe to Narad, to Kamdev. He bribed him. He says, go take care of him so he wouldn't get my position. Kamdev was a servant. He goes, he does what he's bid. He goes and he tries, he fails, and he's a failure. Oh, what are you good? You said you're the best and you can't. So he's left to fail and the world looks upon him, he's a failure. But did he fail? Did he do anything wrong? He did, quote unquote, his duty as he's defined to be the one who stimulates sensuality. He was asked to do his job. He's like fire. He says, I only do one thing, I burn. That's it. You give me a house, I'll burn it. You give me cotton wool, I'll burn it. You give me a diya, I'll light it. But my job is a flame. Narad Kamdev did his job, did his duty, but in the eyes of those, you didn't do well. You're supposed to be the one that can create stimulation. Narad Muni left there feeling that he's conquered someone. Desire, greed, fomenting, dominating, stimulating, ego. Then ego prevails. When ego is prevalent, combined with then later, he goes to Bhagavan Vishnu and he's cautioned, do not have this attitude in life. Do not go about telling everybody how good you are and so on and so on. Or try to make sure you are the number one and you're it all the time. And as such, he moves on, then he gets infatuated and desire combines with his ego. And then he makes himself look like a total fool. And he blames who? Bhagavan Vishnu. And he tortures and put the harshest punishment to those who took laughter to his misery. Don't laugh at anyone when they fail. Remember, their karma is their karma. Our karma is our karma. If they or you or anyone, help them to understand and realize their state of ego or whatever, but do not laugh or mock at them. In doing so, we are creating negative karma for ourselves. Of course, this katha takes us to the point whereby now it goes on that Bhagavan Vishnu is cursed. The two doots of Bhagavan Shiva are cursed. So how many people have been victims of Raja Indra's desire to maintain his kingdom? It happens every day in life, in the job, in the home, in the society, where one person, because of their power struggle or the power grab in their activities, everyone gets caught into it. But just to reverse that, let's say that Indra did not have a power grab. He says, you know what? I know Narad Muni is going to achieve this. And I hope Brahmadev gives him the opportunity to rule my kingdom. The katha will have ended right there. Done. No one would have to go and try to tempt him. None of the other things would have happened if that good thought had started from there. But it says when the thoughts start out in a negative or a egotistical or a greed or those things, it has a tendency to permeate everything around us. So what's our defense system? We as human beings are all vulnerable. Last week I talked about vulnerability. We all are vulnerable. It doesn't matter who we are. But the only way we overcome vulnerability is by taking risk in life. And by the way, the minute you take a risk, you become vulnerable again. You know, you buy a lottery ticket. Are you vulnerable there? Yes. You just spend some money that you know will have no end result. But you're taking a risk. The potential is, if you didn't take that risk and you didn't make yourself vulnerable, you'll never open up yourself to the opportunity of winning the big prize. But remember, we are all vulnerable. Point is, in that vulnerability, we become easy victims of ego and desire. There's no human being that's not vulnerable. Be cautious of these two people, ego and desire. When we are caught between them, we are lost. And the only saving solution in our lives is the Ram Nam, Shiva Nam. This occasion of Mahashivratri is not that we are egotistical or we are caught by desires. Of course, we're only human. Are we? Are we egotistical and are we caught by desires? If we didn't, we wouldn't be human. We all have a little bit of ego. Some of us have a lot more. So all of us have desires. Some of us have a lot more. But our objective during Mahashivratri is to temper it, recalibrate, control it, manage it continuously so that we become, ultimate goal is to become Tyagi, to overcome it totally, that it does not influence our lives in any negative way. Umapati Mahadeva ki Jai. This brings us to the end of our first night of reading from the Mahashi Puran. This story will continue, this katha, particular katha about this, but dealing with other aspects of human emotions. I've chosen to present this katha in this way. I could tell you the story, but without these points of key elements of the arth from this katha is only a story. I could tell you it in 1 minute. Indra Devata was very upset and he wanted to make sure he kept his throne, and he told Kamdev to go and influence Narada Muni, and Narada Muni was not influenced. Narada Muni felt he was God. He went to Bhagavan Brahma, and Brahma said, boy, behave yourself. He went to Vishnu, boy, behave yourself, and he didn't behave, and God punished him. End of katha, done. I could read it all for you that way. And that is the katha. That is the story. But this is not what it's meant for, to tell stories. The stories are intended to present different aspects of human nature and how we become victims of Maya. What are the two things you want to remember? Maya. Who is Maya again? Not Auntie Maya. Who is Maya? What is Maya? Everything. And when Maya is hand in hand with Mr. Ego, these two are and by the way, we can't live without them. We cannot avoid living in Maya. We cannot avoid ego being around. What we need to do is the dominance in our lives. Syabhati Ramachandra Bhagwan ki, Umapati Mahadeva ki, Jai. And we'll have Samji do one more bhajan for us. Anybody here? I'll sing.
Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Bhole, Namah Shivaya.
Namah Shivaya, Hare Hare Bole, Namah Shivaya,
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Bhole, Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Hare Hare Bole, Namah Shivaya.
Gangadhara, Shiva Gangadhara, Gangadhara,
Shiva Gangadhara,
Gangadhara, Shiva Gangadhara, Gangadhara,
Shiva Gangadhara,
Hara Hara Bhole, Namah Shivaya.
Hare Hare Bole, Namah Shivaya,
Hara Hara Bhole, Namah Shivaya.
Hare Hare Bole, Namah Shivaya.
Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Bhole, Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya,
Rameshwara, Shiva Rameshwara, Hara Hara Bhole Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Bhole Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Bhole Namah Shivaya.
Namah Shivaya, Namah
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Bhole Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Bhole Namah Shivaya.
Umabadi Mahadeva ki Jai. Let me take this opportunity to welcome each and every one of you here tonight and to remind you that this yajna continues tomorrow. Mahashivratri is on Saturday, March 6th. March 7th, we'll be celebrating burning of Holika, and March 7th, we'll be celebrating Holi. That is, Holi will be celebrating by all. But I want to take a moment to let you be aware, if you're not aware, of an incident that has occurred here in the Mandir property. On Tuesday morning, we discovered there was a graffiti on this wall on the outside. How many of you are aware of this? Put your hands up, please. How many of you know about this? Everybody knows about it. Some of you don't. If you haven't, you can take a walk out there. You'll see the graffiti on the wall. This has caused us great pain and distress, and there's a lot of being done. We're trying to identify who's done this. Police has been in our premises for quite a few days. They were here twice today, and they continue to try to find those. Ram Mandir is the fourth victim in this program that's been executed by some group of people. The Vishnu temple 2 months ago, the Bap Swaminarayan Mandir in Etobicoke, then the Gauri Shankar Mandir here in Bramley about 2 weeks ago, and now Ram Mandir. In order to confront or to respond to this, we are trying to get politicians to do something, police to do something, and to identify these people. All of them are work in progress. Nothing has brought fruitful results as yet. But we at Ram Mandir have decided to take a different approach. The markings will stay on the wall for 10 days, and that 10th day will be on the 24th of February. On that day, since yesterday, we launched a campaign. It's called Washing Away the Hate campaign. And that is, we are inviting everyone, not only Mandir devotees from Ram Mandir, but devotees from all the Mandirs, all the religions, Muslim, Christians, Sikh, Buddhists, and everybody, police department, the mayors, politicians, to come and with us, hand in hand, to wash away the hate. So this is our campaign, and the news media is aware of it, and everyone is aware of it. We've sent out actual invitations to invite people. Some of you might have received in the mail to register, but you don't have to register. Turn up. From 5 to 7, turn up in large numbers. What is the objective here? We want the people who have done this at least to gain some benefit from their work. That everybody's seeing it. That's what they wanted, right? So we make sure we're keeping up for 10 days, that everybody see them, they feel good, they didn't waste their time, everybody's looking at it. But what will be the end result is that what they're trying to do is to create disharmony, and what they will see is harmony. Because when we all come together, holding hands together to wash away the hatred, we are showing them that we harmonize and you are out of play. And we will tell them on that day, whatever baggages you've brought from another country, that where you live in disharmony, do not bring them to our harmonious country, and especially to Ram Mandir, where love and harmony is some of the key objectives of our day-to-day activities. So this is our objective, we want you to bear the date in mind. Other than Mahashivratri coming up, bear that date in the mind. 24th February, 5 to 7 p.m. I know that Mayor Bonnie Crombie requested that I confirm that it happens sometime between 5 and 6 because she has another meeting at 7 and she wants to be here. And Patrick Brown is basically committed, and we are going to try to get everybody else. We're trying to get some of the people from all the religious communities, including the Sikh community, to be here with us on that day. And we're looking forward to see all of you. Come out. By the way, we'll have the brush and the soap and water. You don't have to bring that. Do you think you can wash that paint off the wall with soap and water? No. But we cannot wash away hatred with soap and water either. We can only wash away hatred with good feelings and harmony in our minds. So we are attempting to wash away the hatred in the minds of those who've created these graffiti markings by our pious approach, by our calm and collective approach of love, peace, and harmony. So please do join all of us on that day. Now we would like to invite everyone to rise to Sabhi koi kare jaye and for Aarti. Thank you. Or prasad charakar. We have some prasad to offer. If anybody's brought prasad that was not offered, please come now and we shall offer prasad. Put you to work when you come here. Om Sharkara Khanda Khadhani Dadi Chira Gritani Cha Aharam Bhakshavo Cha Naivedyam Pratigriyatam Naivedyam Pratigriyatam Naivedyam Samarpayami Naivedyam Samarpayami Tvariyam Vastu Govindam Tummameva Samarpye Grihana Sannute Bhutva Prasidya Purushottamam Umapati Mahadeva Ki Jai. सभी लोग खड़े हो जाए, आरती करेंगे. Everyone please stand for आरती.
Cha रखता तीनों रूप निरखता त्रिभुवन जन मोहे ओम जय हर हर महादेव ओम जय हर हर महादेव अक्षमाला वनमाला मुंडमाला धारी स्वामी मुंडमाला धारी चंदन मृग मद सोहि चंदन मृग मद सोहि भाले शशिधारी ओम जय हर हर महादेव ओम जय हर हर महादेव श्वेतांबर पीतांबर बागंबर अंगे स्वामी बागंबर अंगे सनिकादिक ब्रह्मादि सनिकादिक ब्रह्मादि भूतादिक संगे ओम जय हर हर महादेव ओम जय हर हर महादेव ओम जय शिव ओंकार स्वामी जय ओंकार ब्रह्मा विष्णु सदाशिव ब्रह्मा विष्णु सदाशिव अर्धांगी धारा ओम जय हर हर महादेव ओम जय हर हर महादेव।
सब लोग हाथ जोड़कर as we offer concluding prayers, we invite everyone to reflect in our minds upon the power of Bhagavan Shiva, the power to purify the mind. And this purity comes by us engaging our bal, buddhi or vidya, our in energy, our knowledge and our intellect. This is how we cleanse our mind with these ingredients in a positive way. We pray and we ask the Divine Lord to guide us to achieve this purity. Om Hari Om Hari Om Vande Devmapadim Surugurum
वन्दे जगत्कारणम् वन्दे पन्नगभूषणं मृगधरम् वन्दे पशूनां पतिम् वन्दे सूर्यशशाङ्कवहिनयम् वन्दे मुकुन्दप्रियम् वन्दे भक्तजनाश्रयं चरणं वन्दे शिवं शङ्करं
वन्दे शिवं शङ्करं नमः शिवाय
नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय
ॐ नमो शान्ति
अंतरिक्ष गुण शांति पृथ्वी शांति रापः शांति रोषधय शांति वनस्पत्य शांति विश्वदेव शांति ब्रह्मा शांति सर्वगुण शांति शांतिरेव शांति शांति
शीश झुकाकर धरती पर प्रणाम. We bow our heads touching the ground. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, गुरुदेवो महेश्वर गुरुर्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः
तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः
असतो मा
सद्गमय
तमसो मा
ज्योतिर्गमय
मृत्युर्माम्
अमृतं गमय
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः
सर्वे सन्तु
निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि
मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। बोलिए सियापति रामचंद्र भगवान
की जय
पवन पुत्र हनुमान
की जय
राधा कृष्ण भगवान
की जय
गणपति भगवान
की जय
लक्ष्मी नारायण भगवान की
की जय
सरस्वती माता की
जय
शंकर भगवान
की जय
जगदम्बे मैया की
की जय
बोलिए सब संतन की
जय
सद्गुरुदेव महाराज की
जय
अपने अपने माता पिता की
की जय
धर्म की
जय हो
अधर्म का
नाश हो
प्राणियों में
सद्भावना हो
विश्व का
कल्याण हो
धरती माता की
जय हो
भारत माता की
जय हो
ओम नमः
पार्वती पते हर हर महादेव हर हर महादेव श्री सच्च सनातन धर्म की
जय। बोलिए व्यास जी महाराज की जय।
धन्यवाद. Thank you all for joining us tonight, and those who join us on social media, we thank you. Please do join us again tomorrow evening as we will continue with Shiv Bhagwan ka Katha. And of course, Saturday morning, first puja will be at 6 a.m. and then first prahar will start at 6 p.m., second at 9, third at 12, and the fourth prahar at 3 a.m., taking us into Sunday morning. So we look forward to you spending the entire Saturday with us in the Mandir. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.